Hello my friends, for today's beer review we're going to be taking a look at Founders Centennial IPA. Founders Centennial IPA is a highly praised IPA. Founders makes two different ones. They have the standard Founders Dry Hopped All Day IPA, and then you've also got the Centennial IPA, which is higher in ABV and supposedly is sweeter, stronger. I would say closer to an Imperial IPA than the All Day IPA would be. Less sessionable, more like a sipping beer to be savored. This has gotten some world-class marks and ratings, so we're going to see if it stands up to the test. Today we're going to be drinking this out of Dogfish Head's patented IPA glass. Pretty interesting look to it. Maybe I'll do a video over glassware one day and I'll explain to you how this thing works. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to get the cap off of here and see what all the hype's about on this IPA. Straight out of the glass, it pours a nice straw gold sort of color. Let's see if we can get a head on this here. Pours about a half to 3/4 a finger of slightly off-white foamy head. Up into the light, it is a very dark amber color. So let's give it a smell and see what we can pick apart. Very floral, lots of oranges, grapefruits, maybe a little bit of pineapple up front immediately. These fruits are sweet. They don't smell very bitter or savory on the nose. A good earthiness to it, something very natural, such as rainwater. And apples, if you smell deep enough. It smells really good. Compared to your standard IPAs, this has a little more interesting notes. With IPAs, it's usually just grapefruit, grapefruit, hops, hops, grapefruit. This has got some little more subtle notes like apples, oranges, and pineapples in it. Pineapple, not to the degree of something like Lagunitas Little Something Ale. We'll get to that, but it's there. So without further ado, let's give it a taste. Very good. With most IPAs, you expect that intense bitterness on the back of the tongue. This does have 65 IBUs, and the ABV comes in at 7.2%, so it's a little higher than your standard beer, but you could probably have a couple of these and get away with it. It never gets too bitter. There's always this little bit of sweetness that counteracts this little bit of bitterness. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this is actually probably one of the most balanced IPAs I've ever drank. It's got not tangerine, it would have grapefruit rinds, the savory side of a grapefruit. Oranges, citrusy fruits. Just a little bit of a floral note in the taste, not too terribly much. Surprisingly, this may be the head lending way to this, but it has a decently creamy mouthfeel and extremely impressive lacing, especially for an IPA, as you can see here. This is really good. I would almost say the mouthfeel is almost on par with a nitro beer. Not quite as creamy, but it's very creamy for being an IPA. It's good. The beer does have a long finish. Some of the bitterness does start to swell in on the back and sides of the tongue after after you swallowed a very long finish, still tasting the bitterness. But with the next sip, you counteract that. It has a good sweetness up front. This is a really good IPA. No doubt about it. I understand why this has been getting world-class remarks. I am going to rate this beer at a 9.3 out of 10. Really high up there. This is on par with the IPAs that Dogfish Head has released. It's very good. I'd expect no less from Founders. So far, everything I have said is, at the very least, very good. And this is great. So there you guys go. That has been Founders Centennial IPA. Highly recommend you guys check this one out. Well worth the money if you can find it. Comes in a 6-pack. And I'm going to continue enjoying this Centennial IPA. Hope you guys join me here again for the next beer review. And until then, have a good one.